Hello, I'm Roberto, also known as FPL Yellow Army, and welcome back to FPL Juice, your place for the juiciest bits of every FPL video. And in today's video, I am, as the official juicer for Watford FC, going to be running through with you the best Watford assets for a tricky trip to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the Game Week 3 fixture this coming Sunday. A very tough game, but please do like the video, share with all your mates, subscribe of course to the legendary FPL Juice, and leave some comments down below about my advice and about my picks for this game week. So to start off with then, let me just tell you that this going into it is a really difficult game, but I'm going to be confident. I'm going to say Watford, have a decent shout at it. We'll be playing on the counter-attack and we've got some decent FPL assets. So to start off with, injury news. Now, off the back of that Brighton game, we haven't had too many injury worries that weren't already there. Kuzka is still a doubt, unfortunately, so I doubt that we would risk him for this game. It's probably a 50-50 call, but I just think he's not right now at the best of his fitness, and we do really miss him in that midfield. So hopefully that midfield three can get sorted out. Loaza was awful against Brighton, so he could probably start, but I don't really want him to because we need to see someone else come in and do a job. But also Ben Foster is the main one. Off the back of that Palace game in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday, we did have an injury, a small hamstring for Ben Foster. So all those people with Ben Foster as their second goalie, don't panic, it will be just a small injury, so he shouldn't be out for too long. And the other thing to say is, of course, that in midfield, the player of Nathaniel Chalobah is still a doubt, but it's an unsure timeline on his injury right now. So in terms of set pieces, we saw against Brighton, Loaza on free kicks. Whether he'll play is another question because his performance, he kind of just let the game pass him by. But Ken Sema could be decent on indirect free kicks and certainly cleverly on those corners. You'd imagine Sarr once again would be on penalties if we ever get into the final third. But on a real note, I think that Dennis was really good against Brighton and he can still be the best asset to own for this Tottenham Hotspur fixture. Scored an offside goal, but generally just gets further forward and has so much pace. So in terms of price changes, over the last few days, there's been a lot. And basically all drops for price changes. Troy Deeney down by 0.1 to 5.4 million, with rumours that he will be leaving the club, and I could see it happening. It would be a shame. He's been amazing, and his legacy is fantastic. But we just got other strikers playing right now. Ngakia 4.4 million. He's gone down due to him not starting over Craig Cathcart, which seems a little bit odd that we've been playing an out of position centre back, but he could play in this game if Cathcart isn't to start, but it will be an interesting decision for Xisco Munoz to make after Kiko Femenia came on against Palace and played, I'd say, about 20-30 minutes. Maybe he'll be up to the pace, but he just doesn't look perfect. Then Andre Gray down by 0.1 to 5.4 million. I don't think anyone will be considering him as an option anyway. And same thing for Dan Gosling, down by 0.1 to 4.9 million. Rose as well, cheaper now, 4.4 million, but he's not had the fitness. However, did start against Crystal Palace and actually put in a man of the match performance, looked really composed, and I've got a funny feeling that Rose could make his debut in the Premier League for the first time this time around in his career at Watford against his former team Tottenham. That would be really great. He of course started the game against Palace and looked really, really good, and he's just got more form right now than Adam Messina. Whether he's got more fitness is another thing. Loaza as well went down in price, and he's not been starting that Villa game, but then he started against Brighton, looked a bit dodgy. 5.4 million now, and also price drop for Joao Pedro, who's out injured for a few more weeks at least. It looks like we won't get him back till at least until the after international break, because he's now at 5.4 million. Another player we'll get back after the international break will be our new signing. Ozan Tufan is in a current quarantine period, so he won't be back until around the 11th of September. And also Will Hughes, with all the transfer speculation that he'll move off to Crystal Palace, He's gone down by 0.1 to 4.9 million. Sierrata as well hasn't been playing many games, and he played at least against Palace, got a clean sheet, looks very solid. I'm hoping he'll be ready to have that fitness to start against Tottenham, but he's down to 4.4 million. Kiko Femenia as well hasn't had much minutes, and he's down to 4.4. And finally, Dennis, a few days ago, actually did go up in price because he looks like a great enabler at 5.1 million. If you're wanting to put in Lukaku later on in the season, Dennis is one of those third strikers that you really want to have for the good fixture and then bench him for the bad one. But whether you see this Spurs fixture as a bad one is up to you. Form guide, obviously, the last 5 drawn against Stevenage, lost that game against Palace, beat Villa, lost, of course, to Brighton, and then win against Crystal Palace. And also to say that this game week 3 fixture will be a tough one for Watford. So, will Xisco park the bus and play on the break, or will he go for it and risk a hefty defeat? In terms of the best options for this game, in terms of FPL, you've got Ismail Assar, Ken Sema, Emmanuel Denise, Sierrata, because it could be his first start and he will show an impact, and also Danny Rose. But mainly, Craig Cathcart has got a great goal-scoring record against Tottenham, so watch this space, people. So, predicted lineup. I think the 4-3-3 formation looks like a thing of the past right now. We've seemed to go into a more flat 4-1-4-1, which we've played against Brighton and Villa. And really, that's how we're going to probably set up. But it could be even more defensive in a 4-4-2, just to try and stay in this game, because Tottenham are going to have so much pace on the break. But we also want to try what we can do on the break. But in terms of the goalkeeper, Backman in between the sticks after Foster's injury, of course. Kiko Femenia is a hope to play at right back, but I just don't see Xisco changing it, unfortunately. I think he'll go with the more sensible and less risk involved pick of Craig Cathcart. And then centre-back, Sierrata, hopefully. William Troost-Ekong, and at left-back, Danny Rose. I think he'll play ahead of Messina, who's just been off form recently, and Rose wants to prove a point against his former team. The midfield 3 is a really hard one to call. I think that you could easily see Luaza in there again, despite his poor performance. But I'm going to back something different and say that Sema goes into that midfield 3 because he looked really good there against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. So Atebo, Cleverley and Sema. And then out on that left-hand side, I'm very tempted to go with Josh King, but I'm not sure how far up his fitness is right now. So I'm actually going to go for a bit of a punt and say Cucho Hernandez on the left. I think he really desperately needs a start. And Sema can play still in the midfield that way. Up front is Emmanuel Denise, and on the right is Ismail Assar. And then, of course, we've got the predicted, the best captaincy options for this matchup. And I think that this is the kind of game where you've got to target Emmanuel Denise, his pace up against the slow centre-backs like Eric Dyer, and certainly Ismail Assar will give Sergio Reguilon many problems in the game. So those are some captain possibilities if you're feeling very, very bold, of course. And then, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about what my thoughts are for this match in terms of a tactical point of view. I think we're going to set up very, very deep. We're going to try and nick a goal, try and be defensively resolute, but I think we're just going to do what we can and see if we can nick a 1-0 win. I think Sarr at 4.9% differential is really, really nice, as well as Emmanuel Denise at 6.5%. And thanks for watching. It's been a really good one. Follow me, of course, at RobertoHollis9 on Twitter, and on Instagram, all lowercase, Roberto_the_pro. And on YouTube, you can follow me at FPL Yellow Army and Roberto the Hornet. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, of course, to catch the FPL Juice podcast every single Tuesday evening at 8:30 p.m. right here on YouTube. Let's go for it. It's going to be a tough match, but I'm feeling confident as always.